Welcome to Blind City. I had to lose my sight to find my vision.
Are you blind? Are you blind? Open your eyes. They lying every time, so I don't trust men, only trust God. I had to lose my sight before I could see the light.
Welcome to Blind City. See, Blind City is a condition. Crime, racism, and poverty. We have to put the word neighbor back into hood. I had over 31 surgeries and lost my sight and fight to glaucoma. I tried killing myself 3 times in one day, and I was unsuccessful. And then I heard a voice tell me, use your weakness as a strength to inspire and create awareness through Blind City, the podcast. I will address the issues that are plaguing our society, like poor education, that are turning our broken neighborhoods into the breeding grounds for prisons, bootleg preachers, crooked politicians that have my people dancing like strippers in the community. Let's talk about it, or we can flip tables like Jesus. Welcome to Blind City. This is Blind City, the podcast. I'm your host, Langford Cunningham, along with Dr. Porter. We are the therapy for these streets. And like I said before, the most dangerous man in the world is a blind man with a handgun. Welcome to Blind City, the podcast. I'm your host, Langford Cunningham. I had to lose my sight to find my vision. We have a special guest that just rolled up to the city. Dr. Porter, how you doing?
I'm good, LC. How you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited about this dude, man. A legend, man. A legend, man. The man that overcame the odds, the obstacles. And he's inside the city. And people want to know, what has he been doing? Where did he go? Some want to know, did he go to jail? Some want to know, is he in a gang? Some want to know, is he in the Hall of Fame? Nah. He's in Minnesota's Hall of Fame, home of the Gophers. He was just recognized. Laurence Maroney, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, thank you for showing up, man.
Oh, yeah. It took me a little minute to get here, man, but, getting out my shell, so thought I'd come through and bless it for you since you showed me nothing but love and respect.
So let's get right to it. Mr. Maroney, Normandy High School graduate, all-star athlete. What you been up to, bruh?
Well, my kids, for one, raising my kids, been just really out the way, just, getting my life, putting my pieces of my life back together.
Now, when you say pieces, let's talk about the pieces. What are you putting back together? Let's go back. Where did it go wrong, or did it go wrong? What you think what happened?
I wouldn't say anything, like it went wrong or I changed anything, but everybody don't make all the best decisions or the right ones. I'm human. It ain't like I had a blueprint of how to live life the right way. So I didn't make all the best decisions in my life. So just really trying to bounce back from all the bad decisions that was made. And the stigma and the bad light that was shined upon me from these bad decisions.
Do you think because you were an all-star athlete that some of the criticism was too harsh? Do you think that played a major effect?
I think it definitely did. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to, say something bad about a person, give them something to talk about. Nobody never want to focus on the good I did. And it was crazy that, I've done so much good, but the few bad choices I made, it seemed like that's all they want to remember or all they want to talk about. They don't want to talk about all the great things I done and have did.
So let's get to it, man. I did my investigations with people in the streets. I talked to the people, man, and I had some questions from some people they want me to ask you, and then I had some people that were fans of yours that wanted me to ask you. So let's get the lawnmower out. Let's cut the weeds. Let's cut the weeds. Let's handle the weeds before we get to the roses.
For sure. I definitely want to see what these questions are.
The gang. You had some people say that talked about, well, how can a guy put in all the work to make it as an athlete and come from nothing to turn it into something and to provide and put his family in a better position to live, be still rolling with a gang in their neighborhood? Can you expound on that?
Well, you got to think about it like this. At the end of the day, a lot of people, was blood related, was family. So regardless of what they're into or what they do, they still my family. So, and, like I say, at that time I was, mentally I wasn't there. I couldn't see it because it's just like, in my mind, it's like the world wanted me to turn my back on my family. And that was something that I just couldn't do, regardless of what I am or what I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, if I lose everything right now, my family gonna still be there for me at the end of the day. So it's like, regardless of what they're into, what they doing, what game they repping, or all that stuff, is like, judge me for who I am and how I presented myself. So if I'm rolling with them, it's like, it's my family. So it's like, it wasn't a problem with me rolling with my family growing up. But now because I made it to the highest level of my profession, now it's an issue. And I couldn't really see past that because it's like, I'm not giving up my family for nobody.
And how old were you at this time?
Let me see. When I first got drafted, 21.
Wow, 21 years old. Now about the financial, you going to the NFL, and we definitely know in the public school system, they don't give you no financial literacy on how to manage your money.
No.
Now, you might have went from the streets working one or two jobs while you was in school. I don't even know if you had a job while you was playing football or not, but it doesn't matter because if you go from making $10 an hour, now you got what? A $10 million contract. I mean, how did you handle that? How did you learn from that too as well?
Well, it was really just on the fly, being around other guys in the NFL or other people that's in the league, watching the owners, watching the coaches, just trying to sit back and be like a sponge and see how they move or what they're doing to see, okay, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? How is they keeping their money? So it's like you said, nobody gave me a blueprint. The first thing I wanted to do is what any other kid would do when they see growing up in the hood. Everybody got the cars, the clothes, the jewelry. So, you do all that. And, I had my fair share of all that, but nobody say, hey, Laurence, let's go invest back into the neighborhood. Let's go buy a block. Let's go buy these houses. Let's get into the real estate. Let's do something that's going to bring you income with or without football. That was something that I had to learn after the fact. That wasn't taught when I got the money. It was just more so of want to put on, want to be seen with all the nice cars, the jewelry and all that. So, it was just just learning just on the go as I got older.
So, Doc, all these athletes coming out of our communities, why we don't have financial literacy in our public school system?
Well,
or even schools in the suburbs. What's going on? Why these athletes have to learn on the go?
Well, because the school system is not set up to produce entrepreneurs. The school system is social engineering. It's for socialization. And also it's for indoctrination. It's to just produce workers. It was never designed to produce entrepreneurs. So economic empowerment and understanding how to operate a business or run a business and understanding the details of economics, that's not going to be taught. It's up to us in the Black community, especially those of us who have elevated to a certain level of education, to set up these type of programs so that our young boys and girls can come to those programs and learn certain things that they would not learn in the school system. And as I said before, it really starts with the family. But because the family, especially the Black family, has been so discombobulated, has been so strained and divided, so a lot of times the child doesn't get the proper teaching, not only because of lack of knowledge, but also economic empowerment. Many times the mother and the father are striving just to survive. And so a lot of times they don't have the knowledge to impart into the child. So it's up to us who have been blessed enough to have a modicum of education to come together and to set up programs so that those children, our children, have another alternative, have an outlet or a place they can go to learn about economic empowerment, how to understand money, how to use money, and how to empower themselves with it.
Mr. Maroney, didn't you buy uniforms for Normandy football team when you made it to the NFL? Didn't you give back to Normandy?
For sure. Well,
what else did you do? Let's name all the things you did do. I bet you it's more than the Urban League. Let's go, Mr. Maroney.
I remember it was, forget what year it was, but it was a year after me. They basically was saying they needed new uniforms, and I basically, made a bet with them. If they basically, my senior year was the best year I ever had at Normandy, which was only 5-5. And I told them if they beat my record that I had, then, I'd get them new uniforms. And so that next year, I think they went like 6-4 or 7 and something, which beat my record. So I held my end of the bargain. I bought them 2 new uniforms, bought them a home uniform, a white uniform, and then I bought them a black uniform, which is a uniform that Normandy never had. That was one that I always would have loved to play in. And so through Reebok, that's who I was signed with, bought them uniforms, got a list of the rosters, had Reebok supply them with gloves, cleats, anything that they needed.
And then you buy uniforms for Herbert Hoover?
We donated money now, if that's what they did with the money.
Okay.
If that's what they did with the money, then I say I bought uniforms. But, I just definitely donated money to them and let them do with it as they please.
Okay, let's talk about it. Come on, let's talk about it. Let's flip tables like Jesus.
Flip them.
How much did you donate to Herbert Hoover?
A little something. I ain't finna get off into it, but, a little something.
In the grands?
It was that.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure. Because they not getting that now.
Is Herbert Hoover still open?
Is the building still up?
Last time I checked, I thought it was. But just from listening to all the people, it's just like what happened to all the teams or what's going on. But I don't know. I haven't been in the loop, so I can't tell you.
So what can you talk about when you did go through a situation with the courts or whatever that was about when you had Scott Rosenblum?
Well, it was only one situation. It ain't like it's multiple situations. It was they so-called said a drugs and guns case, which at the end of the day, they didn't catch me or find me with no drugs. And I had a CCW for my weapons. So whether I had 2 or 3, they was all licensed, all registered to me, and I was basically legal to carry them.
And this is all facts.
For sure, facts. At the end of the day, the case, I was acquitted of all charges, so it had to be facts. They the way they put it out there, like they
when
just
you say they who? The media?
The media, for sure.
Okay.
The media. I knew it was messed up from the start because at the end of the day, when we get arrested, they separate. It was 6 of us, and they separated me from the start. So I knew it was on some bullshit from the start because they separated me.
Because you're the one that had the name.
For sure. But then they try to play it like, oh, we don't know who you is. That's how they try to act like, oh, we don't know who you are. So that's fine. So if you don't know who I am, why you separate me, for one? And even when we got to the jail, they put me in a cell by myself and put my other 5 co-defendants in population. But y'all don't know who I am. And 2, how before I was even charged with anything, a story leaked the same night. Like how did they get out? I wasn't even charged with nothing yet, but some way, somehow, that same day, it leaks. So before a person even have a chance to rectify the situation, get in front of it, it comes out. So I knew it was BS from the start. They, like I said, they claimed that I had drugs and weapons. Clearly, I had weapons. And that's just for my own safety. And
they didn't find no drugs?
They found drugs in the car, but it wasn't mine. And the amount was minute. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so small, wasn't even going to be a ticket. But at the end of the day, because I have the name, they blew it up and made it bigger than what it was. And like I say, went to pre-trial, didn't have nothing on me. Judge threw it out.
Now let me play devil's advocate. Can I play devil's advocate?
For sure.
So some people might say, well, Mr. Maroney, you're an NFL star. You're a role model for the community. And sometimes people don't want to be role models. People kind of just put you in that space anyway, just because you're the star athlete from that environment. You're already put in that position. So some people might come out and say, well, why are you even hanging around people like that? Why are you even putting yourself in a position with people who may be indulging in drugs or having guns if you're playing in the NFL? What would you say?
Well, for one, I'm human at the end of the day. You know, regardless, we talking about the NFL, that's just a job title. At the end of the day, it's just a job title. And two, like I say, what my friends do is what they do. If they want to smoke or drink, who am I to tell them no? I'm not finna not hang with my friends because people feel like smoking and drinking is bad. You know, at the end of the day, I wasn't. So to me, I don't really care what my friends do because I'm not doing it. That's what all goes back to judge me for how I am, for who I am, not who I hang with or who's around me.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me lay out a situation for you.
Sure.
Because I got partners. So say you got friends and you go to a party for one of your friends and you walk into a room, they doing weed in one room. And I'm sure you've been in parties like this, not just with your friends, NFL athletes, because I heard how they get down too. See, people don't want to put a light on that. It ain't just regular, everyday people from the hood. You got NFL athletes throwing orgies, cocaine, heroin, everything all in one spot.
I plead the
Am
fifth.
I right, Mr. Roney? Oh, you plead the fifth. But anyway, let's get back to the hood. So you walk in one room, they got weed. Then you walk in another room, that got cocaine. So what do? Do you say, well, this is not for me, I'm going to walk out the door, or do you stay in there? Because you the only one got the name. What would you do?
Honestly, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, be honest.
Just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I'm staying in the party because at the end of the day, that has nothing to do with me. I'm not in that room. I'm not doing coke. I'm not smoking weed. So, you know, growing up, you know, we taught to mind our business. That has nothing to do with me. So I'm going to just mind my business and enjoy the party for what it is.
So would you say if the feds came and kicked in that party, how people may associate you being guilty before innocent just because it was cocaine in the house and people are wondering, why is Mr. Maroney there? Even though you didn't indulge in none of the activities, but you the one with the name, you the one that's going to catch the trauma from the incident.
For sure, and that's and I guess that's the negative about the situation. You know, at the end of the day, I'm at a party, so it's not my house. So I'm not even in possession of it. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was law. Possession is 9/10 of the law. So I don't have it. It's not my house. I don't have nothing to do. I'm just here at a party enjoying it like the rest of the folks. So at the end of the day, why the other people not responsible for this?
Dr. Porter, there's a great question. I mean, do you agree with Mr. Maroney or do you disagree? How do you look at these circumstances? Because by listening to this, it seems like he's damn if he do and damn if he don't, because he's the one that has the name and the money.
Well, he's right in both cases, and two things can be right at the same time. And he's right that he has the choice that he's not doing it. Nobody is, he's not possessing it. He's there to enjoy a party. So his mind is not there. It's not his responsibility. But on the flip side of that, to whom much is given, much is required. And so as you elevate up to a certain level, then expectations also are elevated up. And then you have to understand the system that you live in as a Black man. This system loves to continuously put forth the image of the negative Black man, especially when he becomes popular or rich or reaches a certain level in height. The microscope on him is heavier than on any other man in the world. I mean, they're looking at that individual under a heavy microscope, an elevated microscope, shall I say, because they love to make us the face of domestic violence. They love to make us the face of criminal activity. when they can. So they love to do that. So when you're in a position like he is or was in, then sometimes you have to make very, very hard choices because your life is no longer just your life anymore. Because now, because you've elevated to a certain level, now certain other expectations, fair or unfair. It's not fair. But that's the kind of system that we live in. So it can put a person like him in a very, very difficult spot and very difficult situation, because on one hand, he's like, I just want to live my life. And on another hand, his success now is almost becoming a blessing as well as a curse.
For sure.
And that's the conundrum and the dilemma a lot of our Black athletes have to deal with and have to live with.
Definitely. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back with the wrap up and talk about Mr. Maroney, what he's doing now.
For sure.
And also, we're going to give him his flowers while he's still here. Blind City Podcast.
The views expressed on Blind City are to inspire and motivate people who are struggling through the dark times and searching for the true light.
Are you blind? Are you blind? Open your eyes. They lying every time, so I don't trust men, only trust God. I had to lose my sight before I could see the light.
This is Blind City, the podcast, with your host, Langford Cunningham.
Blind City, the podcast. I'm your host, Langford Cunningham. I had to lose my sight to find my vision from the hood to the suburbs. We got Mr. Maroney inside the city. You know, I'm glad that we have you here, bro. I'm glad that you took time out because I know you've been living your life, taking care of your daughter, your family. You have your beautiful woman inside the city with you. Guess both of y'all been holding each other down.
For sure.
And I know how it feel, bro. When I lost my sight, bro, a lot of people jumped ship. Some people said, well, too bad for him. He wasn't a good guy anyway. And, not putting it on the level that what you went through, but it's on the same type of hate, bro.
For sure.
But I've overcome those obstacles. And like I say, Helen Keller said, what's worse than being blind? Having sight with no vision. There's a lot of people with sight out there that don't have no vision, Mr. Maroney. And it seemed like you didn't found your vision. What's going on right now in your life, bro?
Well, besides, like you say, my lady, raising my kids, got into some investments, got into the real estate, just really been focused on business outside of football, just to keep maintain of life. I don't call the things I've done in my life losses no more. Call them lessons. I had to learn a lot of lessons. And, like I said, I could have made a lot of better decisions, but I didn't. I won't go back and change them because at the end of the day, I had fun with every decision I made. It was just unfortunate that, some of the decisions led to some of my downfall, but at the end of the day, like you say, I kept fighting. I didn't give up. Lost a lot of people. The people that stayed that kept me kept my spirits high. I ran into my time of depression. That hit hard. And just keeping the loved ones around you to help you through these hard times and watching me get back to where I need to be. It was a great fight. It was a good feeling. Now that I'm back, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Just enjoying life, raising my kids, loving my girl, and I don't know what else.
Hey, man, I'm proud of you, bro. And see, this is what Blind City is about, man. Blind City is a platform, bro, to inspire and empower people, bro, that come from nothing, that turned it into something, that overcome obstacles like myself. I had to lose my sight to find my vision, man. So I want to give you your just due, man.
Appreciate it.
You are a legend to the community. I don't care what nobody say, bro. You didn't took a talent God gave you or has given you, and you took it to the highest level of the game. And then you played with the number one quarterback in the game and coach and number one wide receiver, Randy Moss.
For sure.
Bill Belichick. 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady. Hey, if you couldn't have them for mentors, I don't think nobody else could take their place from the community, bruh. You did learn from the best while you was learning. And I see it now. I can't see, but I see, bruh. I hear it in your voice. I hear it when you talk. You are happy.
For sure, I had to find it, man, because like I say, man, being in that dark place, it wasn't a good feeling, man. I had thoughts of doing a lot of damage to self, but, I always been a fighter, and I knew I wasn't going to quit or give up. And I knew, my life was my life, and I always told myself, the good Lord ain't bring me this far to throw me back to hell, so.
Rewind. Wait a minute. Say that again.
Say he ain't bring me this far to throw me back to hell. So I knew it was all about how hard I was willing to fight to get back. And so long as I kept pushing forward and kept fighting, he brought me back to where I need to be.
Well, let me say this. Blind City, the podcast, to the athletes that are from our community and people that are really trying to accomplish their goals in life and get to a certain level in life where they think, they have reached the highest level of life, whether it's making money, whether it's your athleticism in sports, or just being a doctor like Doc or a lawyer. But one thing we got to understand, you got to live your life for you. You can't live it for nobody else. They criticize Jesus. So you know damn well they're going to criticize you. But to my upcoming athletes, if you live by the cheers, you will die by the boos. Welcome to Blind City, the podcast.
If you found this content helpful, please share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Blind City, the podcast. You can find us on all social media platforms.
Langford Cunningham is really an inspiration.
Mr. Langford Cunningham.
Blind City, the podcast. It's headed up by a guy named Langford Cunningham. He had to lose his sight to find his vision.
Welcome to Blind City, the podcast. I'm your host, Langford Cunningham. We are the therapy for these streets.
Everybody got their ops, everybody got their enemies, but for real, now you don't even got to worry about your enemy. It be, the closest motherfuckers around you.
No, this is real. We getting shot by police. We getting stereotyped.
We didn't get a proper investigation. Well, definitely, I think it's a bunch of bullshit.
Your car got shot up, right?
Yeah, he struck the bullet.
Yeah, you from the hood.
They just passed a law where you can give a kid a gun without the parents' permission.
Wait a minute, they can do what? We got people in power that's not really for the people. They think the people work for them. You work for the people.
We got to talk about the disparities in our community.
Check out Blind City, the podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or go to blindcitythepodcast.com.